Now available in paperback and Kindle. Vampires stalk the darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. One of my viewers sent me a link to the trailer for the film American Fiction. And this trailer was one that intrigued me because the story was the first one to talk about the racism that goes on in the publishing industry. Now, American Fiction features a story about a heterosexual black male writer who has been struggling as related to his writing career, and while he's gotten books published, he really hasn't been able to get the sales to become the best-selling author he's always wanted. And what has frustrated him has been two things that I have experienced over the course of my own writing career, and those two things that have frustrated him are the fact that he's seen a lot of black authors who go out here and perpetuate black racist stereotypes in genres like street, lit, and black women's fiction go out here and go on to have tremendous success, and he runs into resistance from the white female editors who control the publishing industry. Now, this story was one, as I was watching the trailer, that resonated with me because it's a story that basically is what I have experienced as a heterosexual black male author who has been a part of trying to get a book published through the mainstream publishing industry. Now, over the course of the movie, the Geoffrey Rush character, in a quest to get success, goes out and creates a racist novel out of frustration, perpetuating a whole lot of black stereotypes, and then starts to promote himself as an author, going out here presenting himself as some sort of hood and street thug. And the white women in the publishing industry basically eat it up, and the book starts to become popular, and that's when Hollywood comes to him with an offer of a movie deal. And as this guy is finally getting success with the fiction he's creating, it's basically proving a point about the racism that goes on in the publishing industry and the racism that goes on in the entertainment industry. And this whole trailer basically shows me a brilliant commentary on the racism that has been going on in the publishing industry as related to heterosexual black male authors. And I can tell you from my own personal experience as a guy who has been trying to get books published through the mainstream since 1998, I have run into everything that was presented in this trailer regarding the resistance and racism that goes on in the publishing industry. Now, many in the publishing industry will sit there and say they judge books on merit, but I know for a fact from going out here to submit books to trade publishers, they really don't want to get books that present a heterosexual black man's perspective of a story, and they don't want that perspective because it's one that runs counter to the narratives of the leftist white females who control the publishing industry. Now, these white females who control the publishing industry, yes, they'll publish black books, but those black books basically are books that show the black female characters basically being miserable and downtrodden. Moreover, they present stories that are slanted to go out here and make black men appear to be incapable or incompetent as related to being a partner in a relationship. And that narrative basically started with Alice Walker's The Color Purple, was reinforced by Terry McMillan's Waiting to Exhale, and the numerous clones of the single, successful, well-educated black woman who can't seem to find a man, a narrative that the white females in publishing want to present, because this puts the black woman in a second-class status, whereas the white female heroines can go out here and get the man of their dreams.
the black woman has to be presented as miserable, and the only people they're going to allow to publish books are those who promote that narrative, whether it be many of these black female authors or those black male mangina authors like Eric Jerome Dickey and Omar Tyree. They'll let those books get published, but if a black male author like myself goes out here and looks to submit a book and present a different kind of story, that's when many of these editors and literary agents who are white females go out and look to dissuade those authors from looking to get their books published. And that's what I ran into when I wanted to submit the first John Haynes book, The Changing Soul, to publishers. I ran into a lot of resistance. And when I did my second book, which was a chick lit book, The Cassandra Cookbook, with a cute, beautiful, slim black woman, I ran into resistance from many of the white females and some of even the black females in publishing as related to that book, because they didn't like the story, especially where I was showing the down-loan character being a villain, and they wanted to, again, didn't want the book, telling me it wasn't right for them. Now, when in 2006, when I started to submit The Temptation of John Haynes, that's when I got extreme hostility from these white females in publishing, because I was stepping into the fantasy genre. Moreover, I was showing a black man in a power position in a romance with a black woman. And that basically burned up a lot of these women in the genre fiction editorial departments and literary agents. It really upset them that here we were getting a supernatural story featuring a black male character, and they want to have that genre primarily for white females to go out here and pine for the white man, similar to Buffy and Angel. But if I go out here and present a black man like John Haynes being pursued by a attractive black woman like Esteem, what they do is they got upset. And once they got upset like that, I realized that I could not take my work to those trade publishers anymore. But with the Jeffrey Rush character, they were having him. He was getting success because he wanted to go out here and look to promote these stereotypes. And that's where the character basically makes the mistake that I talk about on the back of the cover of The Temptation of John Haynes, in that he goes out here and compromises his soul to get this success in the publishing world, compromising his whole integrity to get that success. And that leads to things building to a climax as related to his character, as related to the success he has, because what he did was compromise his character to achieve that success. And that's what American Fiction really makes it a really interesting movie, because what is really interesting about it is what's more troubling is it the fiction that this man wrote, or is it the fiction that he's living? And that is the most thought-provoking thing about this book as regarded to the racism that goes on in the publishing industry. Now, what they're saying with this character is that he believes the only way to get success is to compromise his character and buy into the stereotypes. However, in real life, as an author, I realized that the ultimate success is going out here and having control over your narrative. And that's what I did back in 2009 when I went out here and started the SJS Direct imprint. Now, back in 2009, I realized I just needed to go out here and make my own books, not go out here seeking to get the validation and approval of mainstream media platforms, because mainstream media platforms are a part of the media arm of white supremacy, and everything that they're going to produce is going to be anti-black. And since everything they're going to produce is going to be anti-black, if I want to make content for black people that will uplift and empower them, then I've got to go out here and make my own platform and build my own platform where I can control the narrative for those stories. And that's what I did when I started the SJS Direct imprint. And as I started the SJS Direct imprint, I understood, yeah, I may not make a lot of money publishing books, but I will be able to maintain my integrity. I'll be able to maintain my dignity. I'll be able to maintain everything as related to my character, and I won't go out here and compromise that character for so-called success, because actual success is two things. One, receiving the Messiah's gift of salvation, and two, going out here and accomplishing the goals that you want to achieve, and going out here and accomplishing them on your terms. That is the definition of actual success, and that's what I believe is a fact as related to the fiction I create. And that's why I'm out here. And yeah, I'll have some books that will go out here and won't really sell very well, but I can honestly go out here and say that that book is the best it can be as related to storytelling. I can say that that book is the best as related to myself on that page, and is a reflection of what I want to write as I tell my stories. Because yeah, I would love to have a best-selling book, but the whole thing is, if having a best-selling book means I have to betray everything I believe in, betray my character, betray my integrity, then that's not a success to me. No, that's a failure, because it would mean going out here and, one, living a lie, and two, going out here and compromising with white supremacy to give them the stories that they want and breathe brand new life into old stereotypes, like many of the compromised authors that are out here, like Alice Walker, who basically sold her soul to white supremacy with the color purple. And I don't want to be that kind of author who sells their soul to white supremacy to get so-called success, because I understand what Professor Black Truth said many years ago about bootlick being a job without a retirement plan. And that's what I know from seeing what happens to these bootlicks. And that's the another fact about going and making a compromise with white supremacy. Now, while my sales are not best-selling author sales, I believe a concept that Professor Black Truth also talked about regarding the black grassroots, because with the black grassroots, you may not have the superstar sales, but eventually you're going to have an impact on black people. Yeah, you may not have an impact on the spellbound black masses who will buy into these stereotypes to fit into the black box to be accepted by white people, but you will have an impact on those brothers and sisters who are a part of the black grassroots, and that can basically have an impact on those brothers and sisters. And I am grateful for whoever I can reach with my work. I am very grateful for all of the support I get from those people, and that's what's the difference between me and the character from American fiction. While I relate to this character as related to his struggles, I understood the solution was to walk away from that entire system of the publishing enterprise that's a part of the media arm of white supremacy, and go out here and look to empower brothers and sisters with my own SJS Direct imprint. And as I look to empower brothers and sisters with my own SJS Direct imprint, I can go out here and, one, control the narrative to reach readers who want to pick up my books, who are a part of the grassroots. And in that time, I have not only reached black people, I have reached people all over the world. And as I've reached those people all over the world, I have been proud to see the impact of my writing on the people that are out there. I mean, it really made my day when I had two chats at a live stream. One live stream, a brother came and told me how he gave Isis and Esteem books to his little girls, and how his little girls basically loved those books. Another one was where a brother told me after reading The Temptation of John Haynes, he was happy to see a positive portrayal of black women with the Esteem character, and how I had basically presented an image of a beautiful black woman. And yes, even though Esteem was a bad guy in that book, he basically had his whole perception of black women changed to see the beauty of black women. And those are two things that really just stayed with me, because it showed me that my mission was having an impact on people, and the work I was doing was having an impact on brothers and sisters. And sometimes you have to take the victories where you get them, because while I would love to have the career like J.K. Rowling, I just am content to have the career that I have and reach the people that I have. And while it's a smaller audience, it's one that I'm proud to have, because I would rather have a small audience with the black grassroots that wants to be empowered and uplifted, rather than have a mainstream audience with a best-selling book that is written and that completely compromises my characters and compromises their stories. And that's where I differ from the character in American fiction, because the fact of the matter is, success isn't about the best-selling book. No, it's about the book reaching and resonating with people, and the stories resonating with people. That's what means a lot to me. And as I was watching the trailer for American Fiction, I could again relate to the guy as related to the racism he encountered. But my whole push as related to that racism is to walk away from that whole system. That's what I had to do in 2009, after I realized that, it was just a waste of time to just keep pouring money into a system that didn't want to hear the voice of a heterosexual black man with a passion for writing and a passion for creating positive stories about black people. I realized that since they're not going to publish those stories because it doesn't fit the narrative of the media arm of white supremacy, I'm not going to just keep trying to look to seek validation and approval from that group. No, I'm going to go out here and look to build an audience that would appreciate the work that I produce. And yes, it's a smaller audience, and even though it's a smaller audience, I appreciate everybody who has supported the SJS Direct imprint. I appreciate everybody who has gone out here and put in that support. And as I was watching the trailer for American Fiction, I saw a lot of the racism I encountered, and I'm really intrigued by this movie, and I definitely will take a look at it when it comes to streaming. Now, if you want to pick up some of the positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my black sorority novel, The Thetas, my black vampire novel, Eternal Night, and my nonfiction like The Man Crisis and Stop Simpin', you can find all of those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com, and you can also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me be able to make more videos about movies and the entertainment industry and help me to get the next SJS Direct comic to readers, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.
Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.